Hey everyone, Danielle here. Today is Monday, October 28th, and it is the first clip of my second half of October vlog. My pronouns are she, her, and this is my Flosstube where I share my stitching. So, I last left you right before I flew to Stitch New England. And as you can see, I have a finish. But I thought I would share with you a little bit about the retreat, like how it went and what I did each day and everything. But before I forget to tell you, this is They Were Women by Christie's Needlework Corner. She goes by Dr. Christie on Instagram. And the pattern is not available right now. It was part of a book that she was a part of, and it has a short bit of exclusivity. I am sure that she will release it at some point after that exclusivity is done. I got so many compliments on this pattern, and also I shared a picture of my finish to the Facebook group for Stitch New England. Excuse me. I'm a little sick, so I'm a little extra tired. I don't think it's COVID. But anyway, I shared a picture to the Facebook group, and somebody replied saying, would you mind letting me know where you got this? Because I've seen a bunch of patterns that say this, but this is the best one that I've seen. So I passed that compliment along to Christy, and yeah, I think that this one will be a big hit for her when she's able to sell it. And the fabric is 16 count Bestitch Me in the colorway Banshee. And I could not be happier with how this looks. Like, to me, it looks like a billowing smoke. Yeah. So I got in on Wednesday because there was not good flight options to arrive the day that the retreat started, which was Thursday. But the retreat wasn't starting until 3 p.m. And I was like, I'm in a new state that I've never been in before. I'm not going to waste like 6 hours. What could I do? I mean, I could have slept. In fact, I said this. I had to get up at like 6 a.m. or 6:30 in the morning. And I was like, oh, like today Danielle is really not happy with like 3 weeks ago Danielle, who made these plans for me to get up at 6:30 in the morning today. I went out to Newport, Rhode Island. Oh, so we were in Warwick, Rhode Island for the retreat. And I went out to Newport, which is only about 30 to 40 minutes, 40 minutes, 45 minutes, depending on traffic, away from Warwick. And because I was like, I'm going to the ocean state, I can't not go to the ocean, especially with how much I love the ocean. If I have the editing capacity, I'll put some pictures in while I talk. And I did like a tour with a guy. I ended up being the only one on that tour because they offer it like every half hour, and so it was very like individualized, personalized service. But so he drove me around in like one of those like golf cart type vehicles, and got to see the ocean and some mansions and some cool stuff. And then I went and I did a tour of one of the mansions. It's called Breakers. And so yeah, like if you're familiar with the show The Gilded Age, that is where these mansions is where some of that gets filmed. And it was very cool. Very cool to see, very cool, like how like historically preserved it is. Excuse me. So then I got back to the hotel. I met up with Erin of Two Martini Stitches, and it was kind of funny. I This was the first retreat that I was going to where I felt like I didn't know anybody. Now, my first retreat, which was Penwest 2022, I felt like I didn't know anybody, but I had met Michelle of Bindi Stitchy a couple of times, like at Acorns, and I was determined. I was like, I'm sitting at Michelle's table. Like that's just going to be a thing. I'm going to sit at Michelle's table because I at least have familiarity with Michelle and that'll make me feel more comfortable. And I did sit at Michelle's table, and that was actually, I think, the first time I met Erin was Pinwist 2022. And then when I went to, Pinwist 23, I had my friends that I had met the year prior. And so, like, totally comfortable at Pinwist now. And when I went to Stitch North, I had my friend Heather, and now we have our Canadian friends. Like, we're going to always be that table whenever we go. And so I was like, okay, this is like the first time that I don't know anybody. And then I found out Erin was going, and I was like, oh, I'll know Erin. But like 2 years of growth, I was like, okay, listen, I will. I was like, yes, I know that Erin will be there. I was like, but I'm not going to force it. Like in 2022, I was like bound and determined I'm sitting near Michelle so that I have like a like anxiety blanket, you know what I mean? And this time I was like, if the universe throws me and Erin together, then I'll sit with Erin. But if it doesn't throw us together, then I will be a big girl and I will find a table and I'll meet new people, all by myself. And I was headed back to the hotel and I saw her Instagram story that she was headed to the retreat because she was on the train. And I was like, oh, yay, like, hopefully I'll see you. And she responded, she was like, yeah, I'm at the hotel, but I can't check in. And I was like, oh, well, I'll be there in like 10 minutes if you want to use my room to store your stuff until you can get a room yourself. And she was like, oh my God, that'd be amazing. And then, like, I didn't even bring it up. She was like, are you here with anybody? Like, do you have somewhere to sit? You should sit with me and my friends. And I was like, okay. So I sat with Erin and her friend Karen and Karen's daughter Shannon. And then we had a solo traveler, Mary. But Mary actually knew Erin. They're from the same area. So it was a lovely table, and so I started this. Had brought 3 projects, figuring I would work on one each day. But I started this, and then I was like, oh, I really want to keep going on it. On the first day, I stitched all of these green doodads, and then so then I was like, I started it. I really want to keep going on it because you know me, I don't really like to switch projects frequently. So then the next day, I think I started with the words, they didn't burn. I can't remember if I did they didn't burn witches. I may have. And then I was like, okay, I'm done with text. And I started these flames. And I mean, I did like 600 something stitches that day. And I was like, I had just shy of 700 stitches left. I think I had 685. But I was like, I mean, I stitched all day and I got, 650 or whatever. So it's like, I would have to like furiously stitch to get this done tomorrow, which was the last day. Because it was a full day. Stitch New England ends at the end of a day. They don't like come back the next morning for a few hours. So I was like, I would have to furiously stitch. And then even then, I'm like, what am I going to do? Ring the bell at midnight when there's like 5 people here? But once I realized that the finish was in sight, so I was like, yeah, I'm just going to take it easy. Whatever happens, happens. And but then by about 3 p.m., I feel like, I was like, it's 3 p.m. and I only have like 400 stitches left. Like, at home, I would be done in 3 hours. Now, like, it's harder at a retreat because you're talking And, I think I hadn't had lunch, or maybe I had lunch, but like I knew I was going to have dinner. So I was like, maybe it's possible. And then Shannon actually saved the day for me, because when I went to start, I just had 2 colors left. I just had the 2 lighter, or the 2 yellows. And I went to pull them out, and I realized I had brought the wrong yellow. I had one, it was 725 and 727, but I had brought 726 and 727, and they were just too close together. And so Shannon was like, well, I could run you over to Michael's. And I was like, are you sure? And she was like, yeah, I would actually like to drive around a bit. And so I was like, okay, well, if I'm doing you a favor. So we ran to Michael's, and I was able to get the correct DMC, and otherwise I would not have finished, because that DMC color was like 225 stitches. So I would have fallen way short if I didn't have it. And I actually finished around 8 p.m. And so I got to ring the bell. It was my first time ringing a bell at a retreat, because the only time I finished something at a retreat was at Penwis, and Janine didn't have a bell at the time. She has a bell now, but at the time she did not have a bell. So I rang the bell and I finished it. And then, so this is where the video is going to get like a little jumbled of like haul versus, like part of this is haul, but part of this is like plans, stuff I did kind of work on, etc. We're just gonna do it how we do it. So then I was like, okay, I'm not stitching. But I was like, well, maybe I'll just prep my next thing. So the next thing I had intended to work on, and again, this is where it's going to get a little like haul mixed in. This is one of the bags that I bought at the retreat. I was very happy with the shopping. I didn't know how much like would really be there. And so that was why I brought my own project for my Salem inspired stitching, because I didn't know if I could get something that I would want at the retreat. So, but I kind of did. I don't know. I'll talk about it here in a second. But I bought this bag for it. I found a pattern. I found fabric, which I didn't think, because, you don't know like how much Aida will be there. I'm not a linen stitcher. I only like to stitch on Jobelin, and like nobody carries Jobelin. So at a traditional shop, I'm typically not going to buy linen. I'm not going to buy even weave. So that leaves Aida. But I found a piece of fabric, and the pattern. I even found a needle minder. You'll see in a second. But, and then this NPI silk, that I bought, and I was like, so I'll prep it. So I did. I prepped it. I put 1 stitch in it. You'll see here. So there's my 1 stitch that I did. This is Atomic Ranch 16 count in the color Bayou, and I really love it. Like, it's very grungy. I think it's very moody. And this is what I don't know, gonna do with it. I picked up this pattern by the Primitive Hair called 1692. They missed one. And you can see they do it on one of their fabrics. It's a very cool fabric. I like the jack-o'-lantern and the brooms and stuff. The spiders are part of the staging, not part of the pattern. But you can see it says 1692, they missed one. And I was like, that's perfect, right? Like, it's small. It's not super involved. It is definitely, referencing Salem witch trials. And so I bought it. And I was quite happy. And then I went to Salem. And it just hits differently after you go. Like, logically, I know that this is inaccurate, because nobody who died in the Salem witch trials was a witch. Everybody was innocent, at least of witchcraft. That's not to say that there weren't some bad people. But, so, like, logically I knew that, like, when you say they missed one, you know, that indicates that they killed a bunch of witches, but that they missed witches, and that now there are descendants of witches, and logically you know that. And so I was okay with this. And then I went and after going, because, like, I didn't know anything about the Salem witch trials. I don't claim to really have any knowledge about any witch trials other than that they happened and that they weren't witches. But, like, I went and I learned, you know, some of the stories, just like a little bit, just like a fraction, right? Just scraping the surface. And it just hits differently now. Like, I'm not sure that I want to stitch something that insinuates that they did, in fact, kill witches, because they weren't witches. You know, like, it sounds so stupid to say it out loud, or it sounds so, like, silly to say it out loud, that, like, that I knew, but I didn't know, or, like, I don't know. I don't know if that is making any sense, but like I said, when I saw it, I was quite pleased with it. I was like, perfect. It's Salem. It's referencing the Salem witch trials. I'm going to Salem. This is going to be my thing to commemorate that I went. And then I went and I learned, and I just don't know if I'm comfortable with it anymore. So what I may do is, instead of stitching this, I did find a pattern from the Witchy Stitcher that I can't remember what it's called. I'll have to put in a picture of it so you can see it, but basically it's a tombstone, and it says, you know, 1692 to 1693 in memoriam. And I feel more comfortable with that. I feel more comfortable in, like, a memorial piece than I do with sort of this, like, snarky joke, I guess. I was also Googling and, like, looking up Salem patterns, and the primitive needle has one that's called Salem Remembered. But of course, if you're not new to cross stitching, then you probably know the primitive needle is very out of print, very hard to find, very expensive when you do find, and I didn't even see it anywhere for sale on eBay, Etsy, etc. So I think I'll just start with the Witchy Stitcher pattern, and just use this fabric and floss that I already bought, because it'll work either way. And then maybe put a thing on what do you call it, on eBay, where you can set a notification, you know, alerts for if that pattern pops up. We'll see. But yeah, so this is, like I said, this is part of my haul. Yeah, the retreat was lovely. I actually won a door prize, and unfortunately for me, so it was wild, because I'm like, I never win anything, which I never win anything, so I was not expecting to. And then my name was, like, the first one called, and they were all, like, just brown paper bags with stuff inside. So I go and I pick a bag, and it was all patterns from a designer that I do not stitch. So I let my table look at them, and then I went and threw them on the freebie table. So I was very disappointed. This is the other bag that I bought. I just could not, like I said, I love the other one for, like, you know, the hold, please. Okay, I'm back. So yeah, I really liked the other bag for the, you know, witch themed, with like potion bottles and stuff. But like this one was too cute. It was too cute to pass by. Yeah, like they're just such cute little animals in their costumes. And so I bought this too. And it was good that I dropped it because I was able to like separate out what I bought at the pop-up shop versus what I bought at the actual shop. So, this was just cute stuff that I couldn't resist. So this is Crafty Bluebonnet Designs Rudolph Spool. And I think I am familiar with their Etsy shop. I'm pretty sure. So like how cute is that and then those are actual little charms. And the Christmas light baubles are in the package. And then you stitch the backside, or you have the option to stitch the backside, which is also so cute. I don't know if I would because that's so much more stitching, but like how cute would that be to be like sitting on a shelf and then when somebody is like, oh, that's cute, and then you pick it up and you reveal the back, like, so yeah. And it, like I said, has the little things, little charm things. And yeah, so I bought that because it was too cute. And that was like my register impulse purchase. Like I was standing in line with all my stuff, and then we had to like, you know, there was stuff along the table that you go down to get to the register, and that was my register impulse purchase. This is by Bent Creek. It is called the Leaf Flag. And it's this little cute little squirrel on a pumpkin on its side holding a leaf. And I was like, this could be a really good pin with small. So I got that. This is a JBW Designs, the Witch. And I was thinking I would add that to the 1692. But now, I don't know. Maybe I'll stitch the Witch and then stitch Salem below it. Yeah. Now that I've learned, like, I just don't know how I feel about, like, making light of it, you know what I mean? Or, like, insinuating that they were witches. I don't know. I have a lot of complicated feelings about it now. But yeah, so I got that. This was done up. So I will, after this clip, which I know is long, I'm going to be putting in a bunch of pictures and a bunch of videos. The pictures are mainly all from the trunk shows that she had in the shop, like, this was the pop-up shop at the hotel. And there were so many trunk shows, and Bent Creek was one of them. And they had this done up as a pillow, not as a frame. And the pillow was so cute. And this is a whole kit. It's called the Candy Corn of Mischief. And you can see that it comes with the fabric, which is some kind of like, I don't know. The thing says 20 count linen over 2. So it translates to a 10 count. It's funny because I just watched Julie from Kansas City Girl in a Colorado World had stitched this, and she said 18 count, but the kit comes with, I'm guessing, 20 count, and it comes with the pearl cotton, and so you stitch it over 2 to make it big and chunky. Very cute. I liked it. And then this one, I have no reasonable explanation for other than I just liked it. This is Pansy Patch Quilts and Stitchery Blackbird Sampler. I liked it a lot, and so I grabbed it. Yeah, so that is what I bought at the pop-up shop. Like I said, I was very pleased with the options available, and how much fabric there was. I could have bought so much fabric, but I try to be good, you know? So then, the retreat was over. A very nice person named Amy, who is part of, what is their Flosstube channel? Her and her friend have a Flosstube channel. I will have to put in the name of it. I just watched their Stitch New England recap video, and they're fun together. She was kind enough to take me to the shop, which is in North Attleboro. So it's about halfway to Boston, which I was headed to Boston. And Pam was kind enough to, while her and her husband were setting the store back up, you know, from having everything dismantled, so just open for a few hours for if the retreat people wanted to come. And I mean, I think, so me and Amy went in, and then 2 other ladies from the retreat went in, and we all might have been their only customers that day. But I took the opportunity to really, normally I'm not like a digger. I do not dig through patterns. I do not dig through baskets and buckets, and I'll just like look at some things on the rack. If nothing speaks to me, then I'm pretty much done. But I had time to kill. So I was like, I'm gonna sit here and look through all these patterns to find, you know, so when I was at the retreat, I really wanted like the Salem inspired thing. But I was like, at the shop, I was hoping to find something New Englandish. More like New England, oceany type vibes. But I found some other things too, so I'm going to save that piece for last. But my goal whenever I go to a shop is to find a pattern that, like, here are my requirements. Like, I like it to be something that I haven't like seen all over the place. Like big designers I tend to stay away from. And not to say that they can't be a big designer, but like maybe it's a designer that I don't naturally gravitate towards, you know? But like as an example, like when I got to the huge section of the blue flower, I just like skipped past it because like I've seen all of her stuff. I can get that anywhere. I can get it as a PDF. That's one of my other requirements. Or not requirements, but general rules is I like it to be something that I can't typically get as a PDF because I would rather have a PDF than paper. And so to me, I want the experience of like having got the pattern at the shop, not just like go purchase the PDF, you know? I like it to be fairly manageable in size. I don't want it to be huge. So that's about it. Like just stuff off the beaten path, stuff that I don't see every day, stuff that maybe I wouldn't buy normally, but that I like because, you know, you want to like what you stitch, and, you know, try to stick to stuff that's only available on paper, that I haven't seen all over the place, etc. So anyway, but these were some other things that I saw that I liked. Now, I'm not typically a big Halloween stitcher, so don't ask me why all these are like Halloween designs, but this is a Barbara Anna Wicked. I thought it was cute. And I don't know what I would do with the year. I'm not sure if the year has significance to the pattern. But yeah. Oh, there's an alphabet. So you can personalize it. I don't see where it's personalized already, but I guess maybe inside that empty space there. I don't know. But I liked it, so bought it. I think I probably could get that as PDF, but nope, not that one yet. This I also liked. I love a good Quaker. I feel like Quaker, if I had to pick a style, Quaker is my style. This is Jordan Privé. Quaker de la Halloween. And yeah, very cute. I like it. Pretty manageable. And it's Quaker. Then I think there's one more besides the New Englandy piece that I found. Oh, here's another Jordan Privé ABC Halloween. I also like this. It's very cute. Yeah. Those were all models. I think that's what got me. And then, so this is what I picked for my actual piece, like to remember the shop. Like, it is Carriage House Samplings, Sampler of the Sea. And that's what I mean about, like, yes, I get it. Carriage House Samplings is a big designer. However, I don't tend to gravitate to this designer. And like when I'm at Acorns, like the Carriage House sampling stuff is in a section of the store I don't really go in. So I had never seen it before for sure. And again, it's not something I could get a PDF of. And it's, I mean, it's a little bigger, but it's pretty manageable. But I liked that this was all like oceany, you know, New England ocean, blue crab, lighthouse, beachy, the whale. It just felt very, it felt very appropriate. And it is called for in NPIs. And so I actually bought all the NPIs. Normally, again, if this was something that I was just like doing from stash, I would just do the DMC equivalents. I did buy one DMC because she was out of that particular NPI, but I bought all the other NPIs. And that's the other thing I try to do when I do these shop ones is typically I tend to do the fancy floss or the silk. But yeah, so Sampler of the Sea. I liked it a lot. I had another one picked out, but I ended up choosing this one. I was gonna buy both, but then I was like, no, I like this one better. And it was the smaller of the two. So yeah, so that's what I bought at the actual shop. Thank you, Pam, for opening, because I really did need to kill time before going to Boston. And I really did want to go to the shop. I thought it would be such a shame to go all that way and not get to see the shop in person. So then I came home and I picked back up The Legend of Sleepy Hollow by the Witchy Stitcher. I'm pretty sure I forgot to say in the last video, this is a 16 count Picture This Plus Rubicus something, Rube something. It's a little brighter. It's reading a little orangier on camera and a little brighter. It's a little bit more red in person. But I love this. Like, I decided to stitch this when I decided that I could no longer go through with Glendon Place Sleepy Hollow. Excuse me. I was actually looking, I think when I found this, I was looking for a Hocus Pocus pattern. And this came up and I was like, well, that's definitely not Hocus Pocus. I was like, but I like it a lot. And I had said when I showed it in my last video that I was going to, so when I picked it up, I had all this top part done. The Legend of Sleepy Hollow and all these bats were done. And I had maybe like this little tip of the branch or tree or whatever this is. I'm not really sure. And so I was like, I want to do this branch thing and the one that's on the other side, because then I could color complete. Because from those two branches, I could count and get anywhere. So that was going to be the goal, was to do the two branches and not really do anything in the middle or the bottom. But I made a counting error in this branch and I did it like way up around here, but it didn't affect this side too much because like I sort of like went down this way and then I came back and did this separately. So I don't really know how, or like I didn't really know the extent of how messed up the counting was, other than that I knew I was short because like I counted from, I was right around here. I put in part of this outline of the pumpkin, but I didn't have his face in, and I had like all this done. And that's when I realized that like something was wrong. I don't remember what happened to make me realize something was wrong, but I did. And so I counted from like here down to the pumpkin and it was a stitch short. And so I was like, okay, well now I was like, I don't really want to rip like this branch, and this branch was right. But like something in here ended up, like to compensate, something in this area ended up being wrong. And so I was like, I don't really want to rip out like all this potentially up to here, but like maybe being able to leave this being okay. I was like, I don't want to. So I was like, let's start this in the right spot and come down. And I was like, I'm just gonna like run this line, right? And because like, as you can see, this gets tight. So I was like, let's just run this down and see if I'm going to have the cape run into the branch. And if not, I'm not ripping anything out. So I did just that. I went ahead and I came down, 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 down. And this is actually, this is as far, this is the whole cape right here, and his arm. And the tail does come down, the tail for the horse comes down here, but there's enough space that I don't need to worry about that. And so once I realized that nothing was going to touch, I went ahead and I finished off that branch, and then I came back in and filled in this area that I had started. So yeah, I'm actually just hit like 41% done for the pattern, and I'm gonna go on this. I think I have, like 3 days left of October. I think I kind of just want to work on this because it's easy. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring, I'm going to start bringing this down. So this is the body, and then the body meets the horse like around here, and then the horse comes down and towards that branch. And so then I think I'm just going to like try to outline. I don't know if I'll do any fill-in, but we'll see. I'm trying to get my October numbers up a little bit. My October number right now is pretty bad. So I'm trying to get my number up, and I think this would be the easiest way to do that. I would like October to not be my worst stitching month of the year. Right now, I think I'm about 700 stitches away from my worst month of the year. So I'd like to at least do like another 1,000 stitches in the next few days. So this may be the easiest way to do that. So I was going to talk about plans a little bit, but not yet because I'm not done for the month. My plan for the rest of this video, which I'm sorry, this is already like 45 minutes probably. So this will be probably an hour-long video, is I will check in when I decide to put this down, which will probably be the 31st or the 1st, because the way that my stitching tends to fall is that I'll probably maybe stitch on this some on November 1st. So the 31st or the 1st will probably be the last clip of the vlog. However, between this and that, I have something amazing to show you. If you've been here for a little while, you may remember my Christmas deer project that I sent off to Sweden for some assistance. It's back. And it's backstitched, because even though she doesn't do backstitch, she found somebody who was willing to do the backstitch for me. It's amazing. So I'm gonna wash it. The only thing that's left to do is there are some beads to attach, but not like beads. They're like a string of beads that are connected by little, like, it's a string. It's already a string of beads. And so you just like, you like lay it across your fabric in the, laying over the stitches that they're supposed to lay over. And then you just like put a stitch over the little fibrous thing that's connecting the beads. So I'm going to wash it and iron it and then attach those beads, because I think it'll be too hard to iron with once I've attached those, because then it won't be flat anymore and I can't really put heat on those. So I'm gonna wash it, iron it, attach the beads, and then I'll show it to you, because I'm gonna go to Acorns on Wednesday for Whip Wednesday, and I'm gonna drop it off for framing. I'm so excited. I'm so happy to have it done. So I'm gonna show you that amazing piece once I've washed, ironed, and put the beads on. And then when I go to Acorns on Wednesday, I have 4 things to pick up, including my What Remains by Blackbird designs that I had framed. So I don't normally like show off my fully finished items when I get them back. But I'm definitely going to show off what remains is love. So yeah, there will be a few more clips. And so I'll check in and see you in the next one. Bye. So I had said that I was going to show you something spectacular, and I am. So if you've been with me for a little while, you'll remember that I had this kit. It's like one of those Russian kits of this deer. Christmas deer is what I call it. And my husband got this for me. Like, I'd only been stitching for a couple months, and he got it for me for Christmas. And I opened it and I was just like, oh my God, what have you gotten me into? And it just became clear pretty quick that like the blends, the backstitch, like it was going to be complicated. I didn't like that the kit strands of floss were so short, and I really just didn't, work on it that much. It had been a whip of mine from May of 2021 until this last summer, I think, actually probably right around May or June, April, May, June, somewhere in that time frame of this year, so 3 years. I had gotten a very little amount of his face done, and I came across a post in a Facebook group saying that there's this person who likes to do stitches but like doesn't want to keep things, and so she may as well stitch them for other people. And I asked her about this project and she agreed. And then so I just thought I was going to get the whole stitches because she doesn't like to backstitch. But I was like, I mean, like, this is like 20,000 stitches. Like, if I could even just get that help, that would be amazing. But then she actually found somebody because, like, in her collaborations with people, she has found a lot of people who love to do backstitch. And so she found somebody to do the backstitch for me. So as you can see, it's a lot. And then it came back to me just a few days ago. Well, it actually arrived while I was away at Stitch New England. I opened it up, I washed him, I ironed him, and then I attached these beads. So like, I can say I finished him legitimately. And here he is. Oh my gosh, I love him so much. He's beautiful. I did him on a 16 count. Picture this plus fog, probably. It's been a while. But yeah, I'm gonna take him to Acorns right now. I'm filming this right as I walk out the door to take him to Acorns to get him framed. Oh, I love him so much, and I'm so ridiculously grateful to the ladies who did this for me, and especially the lady who did the whole crosses. She did them in like 3 weeks, y'all. Like, she was phenomenal. So yeah, take a good look at him. The next time you see him, he's gonna be in a frame and on my wall, and he's gonna stay up all year long because he's too beautiful to not live in my house year round. All right, that's it for this check-in. See you in the next clip. Bye. Hey everyone, it is November 1st. Uncertain on the day. Friday? I think it's Friday, November 1st. This is gonna be my last clip of the vlog for the second half of October. Yeah, I know, it's long. I'm sorry. But I wanted to check in. I'm putting this down now. This is The Legend of Sleepy Hollow. Since I picked it up, I added, gosh, I did the math earlier, and now I can't remember. I think it was like 2,300 stitches to this. Basically, when I started, I had Sleepy Hollow, or The Legend of Sleepy Hollow, and all those bats. I didn't have any of this branch, and I certainly didn't have any of this horse and headless horseman rider. I wasn't gonna do that at all, but like I explained in my last clip, I think I miscounted in here, and so I needed to make sure that the cape wasn't gonna touch it. And once I started on that, I guess, stop it. once I started on that, I just kind of like went for it. I started outlining the horse and then filled it in. And then because I didn't want to come back to this in the future and count off of here. Now, I don't know why I would have counted off of here to start this thing, but I was just like, you know what, let's just isolate this whole side and start this bottom part, so that way, you know, everything from here on out is counted off of the horse, hollow, and this box here. So I just did one more strand to like start that process, so that then when I come back to this next year, I won't miscount anything off of a mistake. But yeah, I moved this from only being 25% done to being like, I think I landed around 67%. I do think it's totally finishable next year. I have less than 2,000 stitches left. Less than 1,000 of those are black, is like high 800s are black. So I feel like this could be a finish next year. So that would be nice. So then I decided to, after I put in, after I put in these stitches, I decided that what I wanted to do before putting it away was do just like a little bit more work on this, which is Spirits of the Dead, which is what I was working on at the very beginning of October, because I noticed that I was like at 72%. And so I was like, I'd really like to push it past 75%. So I added 2 more strands, I think. I basically added this whole line of text here, and then down there at the end started that line of text. I wanted to get like another strand in, maybe finish off this 4th line here, because then that would have only left 2 lines of text, but I just couldn't muster it. I did, in the span of about 28 hours, I did like 900 stitches. So I think I was just like, I'm done. But yeah, so this now sits at 75%. I mean, I don't think it's gonna be a finish next year unless I pull it out at some other point in addition to October, because I just can't handle, I get pretty burnt out on the words pretty quick, and I get pretty burnt out on this pretty quick, and that's all that's left, this and words. So as much as I don't want it to linger, you know, another year after next year, I knew when I pulled it out this year it wasn't going to be a finish. But I definitely wanted to get it to a point where it could be a finish next year. And I think there's still 25 or 2,600 stitches left. So, and they're all boring stitches. And yeah, so, but yeah, so that concludes my October stitching. I did, I think I remember 6,305 stitches for the month over the course of 21 out of 31 days, which averaged to about 309 stitches per stitchy day. I worked on 4 projects, which was Spirits of the Dead, The Legend of Sleepy Hollow, Stitch for Pride, October, and They Were Women. So that concludes October. My plans for November. So immediately, the next thing I am working on is going to be my manifestation election piece, which is, I started it in July, so that was the last time I showed it. It is by Pickle Barrel Designs. It's called Queen of Everything, and it says, "What is a queen without a king? Well, historically speaking, more powerful." I am doing it in like Barbie pinks, and I have decided that I'm going to change some of the motifs. So there's 3 motifs that are like royal. Like one is like a actual castle, and one is a crown, and one is a little like scrolly type floored or whatever. And I'm going to change all of those to other things. I will leave that more of a surprise, but I've bought 2 additional patterns to sub some things in there to make it more specific to Kamala. But I know it's supposed to be my manifestation piece, but I think that I might wait on those until I know the outcome, because I feel like if my piece just says, what it says, and it has the charted motifs, I feel like I can still go through with finishing it, even if we do not get the desired outcome of the election. But if I've made it very specifically a piece about Kamala by subbing in the motifs with other motifs, then if it doesn't go our way, then I don't think I can finish it, and then it'll just be wasted effort. So I'm gonna just continue for now to focus on the words, which will keep me plenty busy anyway. And I do sort of have a stopping point where I'll be setting it down. I'm going to the beach on the 6th, so the day after the election, which I think will be good for me to be gone for even just a couple of days, because like I'm gonna be glued to the news. Well, like if I was home, I would be glued to the news, but I think that by going away, I'm gonna be with my aunt, so I'll be with somebody else. I cannot consume the news the way that I normally would if I was at home or if I was there by myself. So that'll be good, like to just be kind of reading. I'll just be like reading updates as opposed to just like being glued to the TV. So other than that, in November, I'm going to do my November Stitch for Pride, obviously. I also have my last Caroline Manning round robin piece that I would like to both start and finish in November. It's small, so that's definitely doable. And then I want to pick up. I don't know. I don't know when I'll get all that stuff done. Those are the first like priority goals, is those 3 things. But I am really ready to pick up my RATM, the Nutcracker, because that is the only whip that I have that I haven't touched this year. So after I pick up the Nutcracker, I will have actually put stitches into all of my whips, and that's very exciting for me because that definitely didn't happen last year. And also, when I do my whip parade, I've been keeping track of how many stitches I added to a project. If it's gonna be a multi-year project anyways, so like, Stitch for Pride, I haven't been keeping track because it's gonna be done by the end of the year. Same with the Caroline Mannings, I haven't been writing that down because it's gonna be done by the end of the year. I am only really interested in knowing how many stitches I add if I'm not done with it by the end of the year. So when I do my whip parade, I'm going to have the stats of like, here's this whip, I started it in 2021, and in 2024 I did 2,302 stitches or whatever it is, And yeah, like I said, I will have had progress on every single whip that I have that's multi-year, long-term, whatever you want to call it. So after I pick up the Nutcracker. So yeah, those are my plans for November. I don't know if November will warrant two videos. We shall see. But yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and close this one out and get it edited and up on YouTube. Thanks everybody for watching, liking, commenting, subscribing, doing all those good YouTube things. And I'll catch y'all in the next one. Bye!